weeks because there was not I forgot what I was saying now. Um, oh yeah, the class that I was asked to teach, there was no curriculum, so I had to make it myself. And I was either going to go through several books and comb the tables of contents, but I went into Chat GPT, which I'll describe in a moment, and said, I'm about to teach an advanced pronunciation ESL class. Give me the key topics that I must cover, some optional topics, and a little bit of detail under each one. And 3/10 of a second later, I had my I had um, my class.
Amazing.
So anyway, what I'm going to do today is go Chat GPT, and I have to say up front that I'm coming to this with an attitude, with an opinion. It's just my opinion, but I've been using some of the other platforms. There are general AI programs or packages like ChatGPT, Gemini. I think there are a few more, and then there are AI programs packages that are specific to ESL. Yeah, I'm sure some of you use some of them. And my thesis tonight is that for what we do, with a very few exceptions, Chat GPT, which is free and doesn't come with a whole lot of bells and whistles, is better than any of the big expensive platforms like, well, we'll get to them. So we'll see. And let's talk a little bit about what Chat GTP is. And there it is. Is everybody seeing what are you working on?
Yes.
Good. All right, then I will stop asking because it's working. Um, think of Chat GPT as an interface to everything. I mean, it's kind of like a Google search, except you can talk to it and it doesn't talk back to you, but it'll give you anything you want, basically. I am impressed by its speed and its creativity, because when I ask it for something, it usually says, here's what I got, and would you also like me to do this or that? It's like talking to a person who knows everything in the world and responds immediately. So see if I can make it live up to that hype. So I started using it with my class, and what I'd like to do is just um, show a few examples of how I've used it. Now, most of us teach from established material, ventures or what have you, and I understand ventures is online. So one way that I can use, I'm not doing that now. You can take a page out of ventures or any quiz, any interactive quiz, whatever it might be, and put it in Chat GPT, and then ask Chat GTP to modify it in a certain way. And I'll just do a quick let's see, where is it? There it is. I'll do a quick demonstration of that, and then there's actually going to be several demonstrations, and then I'll take questions, and then I'll talk about the other platforms, the more specific ones. So control click. So here's a quiz I just found online. I just went out and said, give me a quiz. And it's an interactive quiz, so it's not just text. So I'm going to copy the whole thing, and then I'm going to paste it into Chat GPT. But first, where did Chat GPT go? I may have to open it again. I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to be open. Just a second. Go to that, that.
While you're
Yeah.
looking for it, James, may I ask, are you using an app or you just go to chatgpt.com?
Yeah, I should have mentioned that there's a free version, which is pretty darn good, although it bit us in the tail during the live demo this afternoon. And you simply type in Chat GTP or PT, sorry, and there'll be like one click, and then it's loaded, and then I bookmarked it. The There are several paid versions. I just upgraded to one that's $20 a month, but just because I'm so in love with Chat GPT. But you can do a great deal with the free version. So okay, so here we are, and I had copied that thing. So first I'm going to talk to it, and then I'm going to give it the quiz that I'm talking about. So here we go. Allow. Okay. For the quiz below, I'd like another quiz very much like it, but with longer sentences, more advanced vocabulary, maybe at the high intermediate level. And I'd like a few of the questions to be really hard.
James, are we supposed to be seeing your screen?
Yes. Are you not?
I can see your screen.
I can't.
Hmm. I don't. Wonder what I'm doing wrong.
Okay, I think most of us can.
All
You
right.
can?
Yes,
Ellie, ideas?
Hmm.
Can you
What
can
are
you
you?
find can you
Yeah,
find me make the thing so you're seeing everybody and
Oh,
then
make
click name.
make
Um,
gallery go away.
yeah,
you could
that's
try
probably
that.
going to do it.
Okay.
What are you seeing now?
Okay. I've got it now. Thanks.
Excellent. Well,
Sorry.
thank you for telling me because
I
I've been
missed that stuff. Sorry.
so as you see, I copied this in and I've asked what I want and now I'm going to cut and paste, or now I'm going to paste that quiz that I just copied. And the way you do it now is hit the up arrow and just wait. And it always verifies what I asked for. Here's a past simple versus present perfect for high intermediate with longer sentences, more advanced vocabulary, and several tricky items. So let's just have a quick look at it. There we are. Yeah, yeah, definitely a little harder. Um, have you finished organizing? Not yet. I am still gathering. I attend far more than I attended in the yeah. So that's exactly what I asked for, and it tends to do these things in about a second, which is kind of terrifying. So let me clear this and try another one. Oops. There it is. All right, the next one is this. This is kind of interesting. Um, most of what I eventually use ChatGPT for, one could do with a Google search, but it would take a lot longer. I'm going to do another one because I'm teaching a pronunciation course, and we really did have a woman whose native language is Urdu. Has it gone away again? Oh no, there it is. Okay, so I'm just going to ask it something. My native language is Urdu, and I'm trying to learn how to speak the American R. Can you give me some exercises and advice? Click on the check mark and click on the up arrow. Okay. So they start out comparing the American R with the Urdu R.
Hmm.
So it's your basic instruction for how to do the American R, except it's slanted toward people who are coming from Urdu. So that's the sort of thing. These are actually some very simple examples. We're going to get some ridiculously complicated ones in a minute, if I can find where I am. Um, yeah, let's do this one. I'm a lot of these will be about pronunciation. I'm sorry, because I have that on my mind, but we'll have some that are not. So let's do one more. I'm teaching an advanced pronunciation ESL class. I would like to have 20 sentences that illustrate the most difficult transitions between words, meaning from a word that ends in one consonant and another word that begins in a consonant. And I'd like examples of all the most difficult ones and explanations of the nature of the difficulty and how to overcome it. And click the up arrow. I really don't know what it's going to come up with. Okay, there we are. So let's see. He kept saying the same thing over and over, and you have they're explaining. I'd like to meet Tom before lunch. We left. Yeah, because I was doing this ad hoc. I was doing it out of my own head, and I was missing a lot of them. So that's another example. We're getting gradually more complicated. Let's see. And by the way, if anybody has anything they'd like me to put into Chat GPT, anything that's been on your mind, speak up and let me know. This is a little harder. Now, this you could get from Google probably. Well, no, you know what? Since they've all been transportation or they've all been pronunciation, I'll skip to this one. Something that irritates me when I'm looking for course materials, I'll go out and the first several things I find in Google are often videos, and some of them are very long and very wordy. I don't really need a woman, telling me for 8 minutes how to pronounce the American R, or how the R modifies the rhotic ire, fire, things like that. So here's a video. I don't even know what it's about, um, but we'll bring it up. Okay. There's a commercial. That doesn't matter. Actually, yeah, let's get through the commercial because I'm going to ask
With USAA Safe Pilot, I can
ChatGPT
save when
to
I drive
summarize it
safely.
in
With
writing.
USAA Safe Pilot Miles, I can save when I drive less.
I can
Be
I
quiet.
have gone
Yeah.
versus I had gone.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to copy the URL of that video. Oops. Oh, that didn't look good. I think it's all right. Go into ChatGPT. Okay. For the video below, I would like you to summarize the instructional content in writing. And before I hit the up arrow, I'm going to paste in the video, or the URL rather. There we go. Let's see what it does with that. Did you see the thing that said watching the video? It was up there for about
Yeah.
half a second. So purpose of the lesson, here it is. Not sure how useful this would be, but it's pretty impressive to me at least that it can take a 5-minute video and summarize it in about a second. And it could be useful. All right, a couple more, and then we'll start talking about the other tools. Let's see, there it is. I put everything in order, and now it's all out of order. Okay. Oh yeah, I like this one. Um, Again, well, I was tutoring a guy from Honduras for a long time, and I was trying to show him how to use mnemonic devices to memorize English vocabulary. And I was doing from English to English, very, very bad example. Dog sounds like log, and picture a dog sitting on a log. That kind of mnemonic. But that was not a good one at all. So let me see what I can do with a little more advanced, which I could not do on my own. I'm tutoring a man from Honduras whose English is right now at about the high intermediate level. This is ESL. And I'm trying to teach him to use mnemonic devices to memorize English words. And what I would like to do is have the word that resembles the English word and from which he can then make some kind of a crazy story linking the two. Um, I'd like that word to be in Spanish since that's his native language. So can you give me 15 examples of that? And here we go. Oh, absolutely. It's always very polite. And it's always telling me, oh, that's a very good question. All right, so here we are. Let's see if they're any good. Brisk is the English word. Sounds like risco. Um, yeah, unfortunately, they don't tell us. Yeah, do that one again quickly because they didn't give me, they're not translating the Spanish word. And to me, that's kind of confusing. So let me just try it one more time, a slightly different wording, which, by the way, you have to do just as if you were talking to a real person. All right. I'm trying to teach an advanced ESL student, actually, I'm sorry, high intermediate ESL student, how to use mnemonic devices to memorize American vocabulary. Um, in other words, finding another word that sounds kind of like the word or that is part of the word that you're trying to memorize,
Well, you wouldn't.
understanding what that means, and then making some creative story to link the two. So I would like the words that he uses to memorize an English word to be in Spanish. And if you could also, and I'd like about 15 examples of that. And if you could translate the Spanish into English at the same time. Thank you. I don't know if it likes it when I say thank you, but I always do. Let's see if it's any better this time. Yeah, there we go. Stubborn.
Toro.
Toro, which means bull. Well, okay. A stubborn person is like a toro. That's pretty bad. Embarrassed, abrazada. False.
Oh,
Yeah, that's one of the
oh
false
yeah.
friends. Um, so yeah, if you're pregnant, let's see. All right, yeah, I see. That's not bad. I mean, that's a false friend that you can actually use to your advantage. My guy said that when he came to the airport, all the signs said exit. And he said he in éxito in Spanish is success. So he said, "Oh, this is great. Every door leads to success." Anyway, okay, bother. Botar to throw out when something bothers you, we want to botar it in the trash. So these are pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, I do that. This is how I learned all my Japanese practically, and so I'm really big on mnemonic devices, and I would say these are decent. And I actually did this with him. And once he looked at a list like this, he got it, and then he was able to do them himself. Okay. So I think we're almost done with the initial examples. Um, simplified text. Yeah, I want to do this. I have a friend who works in the Montgomery County schools as an ESL assistant, and she goes into regular classes where all the students are mainstreamed. And so the class consists of people hardly speaking English right up to people fluent in English. Her job is to help the students, and she uses a package, an expensive package. I can't remember what it's called. Brisk, I think it's called, Brisk Teaching or something. And what she does is she takes the text that the teacher is going to use the next day and says, I want this simplified to a blankety blank level. And I want a glossary of the vocabulary that you pulled out of it when you did simplify it with simple definitions. And also in the target version, the intermediate or low intermediate version, I would like to have in brackets the excerpts from the original that were changed into the you know what? I'm sitting here doing this as if I were talking to Chat GPT. Isn't that funny? Let's talk to Chat. It's been a long day. Um, and did it go away again? Anybody see Chat GTP on my screen? Nope. Bring it up again. As tech problems go, this is a very mild one. All right, I'm sorry about all that. I will do it now. I'll do it here. Let's see. Just remind myself. Oh yeah. So first I have to go and find some text. So that's easy enough. I'll Google ESL Advanced Reading Sample. That should do it. ESL Lounge, one of my favorite sites. And here it is. How about Siberian Winter? All right, so here we are, and I'm going to copy some of this. It's not super. It's certainly above fifth grade level. All right, so I'll just copy these four paragraphs, and I will say, oh, for the text below, I would like you to simplify it down to the intermediate level and provide a glossary of all the vocabulary that you removed from the original in order to make the simplified version or anything you changed. And in the simplified version, in square brackets, include the excerpts from the original that correspond to that part of the new one. Now, that was practically incoherent, but that's the thing. You don't have to be, I mean, I can interrupt myself, I can correct myself, I can back up, and it doesn't care. So let's see what we got here. Oh, I didn't put the text in. Okay, Control V. Here, there goes the text. There. Now let's see how long it takes them to do all that. It. Pretty good. Yeah, so here is the simplified version, and it is putting into it hurt to breathe is the simplified. It was only minus 20, enough to make breathing an effort. Okay. And let's see if they did the glossary. Yes. here's the vocabulary that they pulled out. So she would give this to the students, and they would get the essence of the more complicated text. Um, so I just did this in Chat GPT, and I think it did everything that hers does. I need to get with her tomorrow and ask her because, as I said, the unifying theme of this presentation is that I think for almost everything that we do, because we are not an institution, we're not a school district, and we all kind of have our own way of doing things. I think ChatGPT, with a few exceptions, which I will highlight later, is much better than these expensive. Okay, I guess I've made that pitch. Um, so I think that's probably enough. Yeah, I did one earlier today just as a test. When you're teaching conditionals and you're in the second conditional, people get confused about was or were. If he was there, he could probably identify the witness, not a conditional. If you were there, he could have identified, that sort of thing. So I asked it for pairs, with was or with were, same sentence with an explanation, and there it was. And that was a much better explanation than I could have given. So,
James, just a
yeah,
question. When you're doing that, you're clicking on the microphone, but then you're going to the top and clicking something, but I can't see.
yeah.
I
It
can't
says
in your
It
screen
says
share.
allow audio or allow microphone or something like that, which I don't know why it does because I allowed it up front, but I'm not complaining as long as it works. Yeah,
Okay.
it will make you go through some hoops when you first put it on your system. If you want to do the audio, it's going to say log in, and you get this standard blurb, continue using Facebook, email, or Google. And whatever you do, you have to log in. I mean, I would say I put in my email address and it makes me give my email login. I don't really know why, but I mean, there's nothing that you can't follow. And so, as I mentioned, I don't think we displayed any of this, but it almost always offers to do more at the bottom. It'll say, here's what you asked for. Now, would you like me to make a table that is very easy for the student handout, what have you? Um, yeah, they offer to do better formatting. The one thing it will not do is audio, which is too bad. Um, I thought that the expensive version would, but apparently it doesn't. So when we get down to what GPT can't do, that'll be there. That'll be on the list. Anything audio. So I guess I should say before I go on to the non-GPT versions of AI, any questions so
I have
far?
one, James, too. I noticed that you have a Mozilla Foxfire browser. Is that necessary? Will it
Oh,
work
no,
any browser?
pretty universal. Yeah, there are a couple of the ESL things. Like, in fact, the one that my English teacher friend uses will only run on Edge and Chrome, so I couldn't bring it up. Um, so I don't want those on my system. Okay, so um,
Automatic.
a few general words about I'm calling them the ESL specific AI platforms, and we'll get to them. They tend to be big. They tend to be all inclusive where they manage all aspects of instruction. So if you're a corporation or a school district or something like that, it would make sense. But in my opinion, it doesn't make sense because they're fairly expensive to do it teacher by teacher. I mean, we'll look at one in a minute that's 20 euros per month and an extra 1.5 euros per student. It doesn't make sense. And some are really back-end systems, that's computer talk for something that you don't see, but you build all your interfaces on top of it. We don't want to do that. I don't, but the question that I'm asking as I look at all of these is in what ways are they better than Chat GPT that might make it worth paying for them? So let's just do this. I'm starting with something I've been looking for months, which is good programs that will let a student speak and then will correct the student's speech. They're kind of few and far between, and they're kind of expensive. And as we'll see in a minute, they're not very good, at least in my opinion. So let me bring up one of those. This is called Speech Ace. Okay. And the way this one works is they give you a sentence and you pronounce it, and then it gives you, well, why don't I just demonstrate it? I'm going to do something kind of unpleasant, which is intentionally pronounce this in a horrible combination of foreign accents. So cover your ears if you need to. Oops, and there it is again. Allow microphone. Why? Caddy de groceries to the car. Okay, now it says 99. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 80. Yeah, I did this one earlier. So they gave me an 80% on that one, which I think is pretty generous. Now, here's the way it works. You click on the words. These are the key ones, and I'm glad to see that because of what I said. So let's click on Carrie. On the right is me, Caddy, and on the left is
Carrie.
so you can, and also it gives you explanations. You know, my R sounded like a D, um, and the I was a schwa. So Caddy. Okay, let's do another one. The Let's see. I said duck. And she said, now here is one of the problems of this thing. They clip her. I wish they would let her say but I think what they're doing is taking her whole sentence, carry the groceries to the car, and they just cut out the part. So all we hear is the, which is the way it is said, of course, but in real speech. But I'd be happier if she would say, I know what they're going to say about car.
Car.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. The R sounds like a schwa, or R sounds like a, yeah, that's no, I don't know what that is. I don't know the IPA. I should really learn it. Okay, so that's one of them. I'm going to do one more. Let me see if I can. Carry the groceries to the car. Let's see if I can do a different one and do it not quite so badly. But no, I'm not sure. I'm working with free versions. Well, you get the idea of how that one works, so we can move on to another one. Um, the next one is Elsa Speak, and I lost a lot of my little remaining hair trying to log on to Elsa. In fact, this is the sequence of things that I did, but I won't bother you with that. But I did find Elsa Speak as a demo, and I like it a little bit better. So let's look at it. So let's look at it. Okay. Now I can only do single words in the free version, unfortunately. So let's see how this one works. Oops, again. Communication. Almost correct. You see,
52.
I think they're just trying to make us happy because then it says 52%, which is hardly almost correct. Let's see what we can get out of this.
Communication.
Okay, there's the way it should be said. I wonder if they have me. I guess not. Communication. Communication. Okay, so then you can go back and forth
Communication.
between the two. I don't see any written instructions about the sounds, but that's all right with me. I go by sound. So there's one. I think those are the only ones that I could get to and that weren't really awful. There's one called Say It, and I could only get to a 17-second demo, but it is so bad I'm not, I mean, I ruled that one out. So, oh, I should have said at the beginning, I'm going to send out comprehensive notes after this. It won't be tonight. It'll be soon. So you don't need to take frantic notes. It'll have all the links and it'll have all my propaganda in favor of ChatGPT. Okay, let's see. Yeah, and ChatGPT said you say it for independent. All right, whatever. So here is the simplest possible way to, in my opinion, to practice your pronunciation with somebody helping you. And I'll bet you all know how to do this, but I'll do it as a demo. In Word, let's bring up a new document. I'm going to dictate. Oops, to move her out of the way. Okay, I'm going to dictate something terribly. It's not letting me do it yet. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country.
Jawohl.
Yeah. And amazingly, Word got it. I found I have to go pretty far afield for Word not to understand. I'm not sure if I have trained Word over the years, because I worked 40 years ago with something called Dragon Dictate, and we were helping a guy with cerebral palsy who was impossible to understand, but the computer learned because he taught it, and then the computer could repeat in English. So it may be that if one of you did this for the first time, you'd have to be a little more careful. Anyway, here it is, and now I'll just play it back. Um, and Allie may, or somebody may have to help me find this because that was happened. Um, I really want
We
this to.
used the search bar for the in-person session, James.
Oh, you're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I say? Read aloud. Thank you. Um, yeah, there we are.
Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country.
So, what I would tell a student to do, I would not use this in a class. I wouldn't use any of the pronunciation things because, not blowing my own horn, but any of us would be better at interacting with students. I could say, yeah, and Betty, you had that same mistake, and blah blah blah. Here's another exercise. Um, One of the students was a little bit sneak or snarky, and she said, "But that's a computer. Are you sure it's accurate?" And I just couldn't help myself. I said, "It's a lot more accurate than you guys." And then I shrank and apologized. Anyway, so that's the super easy method.
James,
Yes.
one of the things I've noticed when I was working with my student is if I'm saying a word in English that she's not familiar with, but she wants to say, it's important for her to look at my mouth.
Mhm.
You're going to miss that completely if you're doing the computer dictation thing and you're just
Right.
looking at ears.
That's true. There are other ways. I mean, I sent my class two links, one of which had all the IPA symbols. I guess there are like 44 of them for English, with an audio and then with mouth instructions. There wasn't a drawing. I have never had much success with the great big gross drawings of the mouth with the tongue and everything. People follow it to a T, and then they're still not making an R. But anyway, let's see. The other one also had the phonemes and the sound, and it was all the alternate spellings. So, like for we had learn and burn and turn, things like that. But no, that's a very good point. I'm working with a Japanese woman in my class, and uh, obviously the L and the R. And I told her when you do the L, look in a mirror and you can see your tongue touching the roof of your mouth up front. When you say an R, you shouldn't see your tongue because it's curled back, and that actually helped. Thanks for mentioning that. So let's see how we did that. Now, one of the biggies is called Almanac. It's another one that is a system unto itself. I mean, here's their blurb: lesson plans, resources for multi-level instruction, cultural adaptation tools, visual and interactive materials, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, you can track every student. It's a great big system. I'm going to jump in here because they have this is a interlink. And I don't know if we can do this or not, but I'm going to try. Plan a lesson. I just want to show you how it works. They ask question after question. Okay, ESL adult. Well, you know what? They may already be answered because I've done this before. Let's find out. That would be fine. Oh, I see. I didn't. There we go. Yeah, all right. We skipped over all the questions because I've already done this once. So imagine that I just answered about 40 questions. I mean, they are very detailed. What is the level? Any special problems? Blah, blah, blah. So here's what they come up with. And this is a lesson plan. It's not really nice to look at, but inspiration, they call it. And we can click on any one of these. Let's see. Visual sound contrast cards. Okay. I forget what I asked as the subject. So let's see. This comes up on the side. It's rather confusing, but I've gone through it before, and you can actually assemble the lesson based on that. However, I'm going to go back to being a cheerleader for Chat GTP again. I'm going to cut and paste this little request for. Technically, it's called a prompt. You may know that word. When you ask an AI for something, it's called a prompt. Like, write my paper because I didn't and I want to pass the class. I'm only in 8th grade. Let's see. I'm glad I'm not a teacher. I mean, a school teacher. All right, so I'm going to copy this. This is a big prompt. Let's see if ChatGTP has disappeared again. Apparently it has. Isn't that amazing? All right, I'll bring it up again. You have to talk to them about that. Okay, so I'm going to type that in and I'm going to read it out loud. Control V. For an ESL class I'm teaching, I'd like a 1-hour lesson plan, high intermediate conditionals, including 10 groups of 3 sentences, each group illustrating first, second, third conditionals with concise explanations of the structure. Any other information needed to flesh out students' grasp, for example, the use of were instead of was in the second conditional inverted structure, then clause before if clause, and the concept of moving tenses backwards as we go from first to third condition. Lessons should include at least one interactive game. Subject matter should be domestic pets and getting enough sleep. Pretty silly prompt. So let's see what it does with that. And there it is. High intermediate. The theme is domestic pets getting enough sleep, warm up pet problems. So this is like the icebreaker. You get the students talking. Second is a quick review. This is the instructional part of the 3 conditionals. Now, I would not take this as it is. I mean, when I teach conditionals, which, by the way, I absolutely love. I love teaching conditionals, especially to beginners. It drives them crazy, but all right, never mind. I always put a table on the board, but here it is. This covers everything, the 3 forms and what they mean. So I would, bore them for 10 minutes going through this. And the concept, yeah, that's pretty good. The further back the tense, the less possible, more imaginary the situation. When I learned conditionals, which I didn't know really until I took a course in TESOL, it was like if you could go back in time and change something, so that's why if you say, yeah, but if you went to San Francisco, you could ride the cable cars because the guy said, no, I'm not going. And that's still in the future tense because he hasn't left yet. You're speaking in the past tense, and the answer was, I'm going back before he made the decision. I don't know if that's good or not, but I like it. And here's the inverted structure. And then what else did they give us? Group 1, pet feeding. Okay. Okay, here are the sentences. And they're simply highlighting the key parts. I was hoping for an explanation after each one, but that would get redundant. Guided practice. Okay, have them make 3 conditionals. There's the game. Conditional dominoes. What on earth? Okay, 20 if and 20 clauses. How to play. Okay, yeah, and you put them together. All right, fine. So anyway, I mean, I would take that as a great point of departure, especially the 10 trios of sentences, and I'd work from that. And it would take me, 15 minutes maybe to make the full lesson plan. And again, to get back to my theme, I think that's as good as anything that uh, Almanac could do. Okay, so what's next? There it is. All right, so next package is ADO. I'll bet some of you have heard of that. I actually had a one-on-one with a lady in Ukraine this morning, a salesperson, because you could sign up for it. And she was going on and on about this is another huge system. Interactive plug, okay. Automatic checking, automatic grading, all this kind of stuff, which I personally don't have any interest in. Maybe some of you would, I don't know. I'm going to show you their sales pitch. And it's very short, and I think you'll see there's not an awful lot in it. Here we go. It's about a minute.
Hello. Would you like to provide interactive classes in your language school? Then we got a solution for you. With Edu, you can create interactive materials using our lesson builder. You'll have access to over 20 types of exercises, the ability to add media content, personal vocabulary for your students, and set up interactive tasks that are automatically checked by the platform. As well, we got a secret for you. We prepared special AI Edu board for all our clients to create perfect lessons and unique experience for your students. When you created your first course and got materials ready for your students, what to do next? Then, we add students to the platform for sure. Create virtual classrooms, run both individual and group classes with full synchronization on the platform, control the lesson, track each student's progress in real time, send new vocabulary directly to them, and assign homework. With Edu, you can teach any language. That could be Italian, Spanish, Romanian. Would you like to teach your students some British pronunciation? Then it's waiting for you on the platform. Especially for you, we prepared some ESL materials and covered a range of levels, from A1 level to C1 level. As well, we got some grammar lessons and some holiday lessons. So everything you need for effective teaching is just in one place with Edu.
So, I personally have no interest in that package. I don't think that I would need anything like that. I'd be interested. Does that, I mean, of course, you didn't really see very much, so maybe it's not fair to ask you what you think of it. Um, but that is kind of typical. It's from Chat GPT, I get exactly what I need and no more. This basically, sell your soul. Well, that's a little dramatic, but I can't see us using something like that unless the entire literacy council standardized on it. Because as I said, it's 20 euros per month. I forget what a euro is now, plus an extra 1.5 for students. It's very expensive. All right, so I think there was one more, or maybe not. And I have to go all the way around the horn. There it is. Elsa Speak. We did that one. That was the one that I kind of liked. And here's some others. I went through them all, and I don't like any of them. SpeechLink pronunciation coach. Somebody mentioned Mango a couple months ago in one of our sessions. That is really teaching other languages. Okay, so to wrap up, these are the things that, in my opinion, are, for our purposes, will probably be better using ChatGPT. Rewriting text, which we just saw, creating bilingual glossaries. We created a glossary, but not bilingual, but you certainly can. And then I like this one, generate text sets on the same topic with simplified vocabulary. Well, I'm sorry, we kind of did that. Okay, writing, creating mentor text. I don't know what that is. Oh, thank you. Sample paragraphs. Creating graphic organizers and outlines. Yes, it can definitely outline. Speaking, it can provide conversation prompts, but it cannot practice pronunciation using voice text tools. Listening, it can't do any of these because it doesn't convert text into speech. But very good for this. Generate unit or lesson outlines. As I said, I asked it, give me the entire 9 weeks of advanced pronunciation and then give me that crazy lesson. Let's see, multiple proficiency, of course. But see, in something like Almanac, you'd probably click on a level, but as you saw with GPT, you want to just talk to it and tell it what the level is. Assessment and feedback can certainly do, creating quizzes. And there is a rule that never trust it. It's always think of it as a final draft. And I think we had, yeah, these are my key takeaways. If you're going to get into it, start small because you're going to have to master the logistic or the interface of ChatGPT. Verify everything. I told you that it gave me some pretty bad mnemonic devices in English. I was asking about the rhotic vowel. What are the rules for when a vowel is rhotic? That's like the word core. You don't say core, well, even though the diphthong is O, like coat, you say core. Okay, so that applies if it ends in an R, if it ends in an RE, if it ends in an R and a consonant like word, but it doesn't apply if it ends in a consonant and then, I'm sorry, if it ends in an R and then there's another syllable. So it gave me a bunch of examples of rhotic R's, I'm sorry, non-rhotic vowels where actually they were rhotic. And if I hadn't caught that, it would have screwed everything up. Keep it human-centered. All I mean by that is it's a point of departure. Some people talk about the 20-80 rule. I don't quantify it, but it's got to be centered on the instructor. It's not a replacement for a teacher, although it probably thinks it is. There it is. You use AI to get either a draft or an idea or a point of departure, and then the teacher improves it. And be skeptical of what it says. When we summarized the video today, some smart Alex said, "Have you ever checked to make sure that's accurate?" And I said, "No." So you don't want to trust anything. Oh, this is an earlier one. I just copied this in case everything crashed. That same prompt, and they gave it a lesson, and they gave it a title. If I had slept more, my cat wouldn't hate me. And there it is, all the things I asked for. And let's see, lesson breakdown. It was a different game. Okay. Warm up discussion. Do you have a pet? Well, the normal stuff, getting them talking. And then, because I liked this one better, as I recall. Notes. Okay, here's the instructional part, how it works with examples. Notes on form. Here's where they talk about you don't really need the if, and you can, why the tense is back shift. Let's see, guided practice. There are the sentences. They still didn't give individual explanations. And here's the activity. Let's see. Oh no, here's the game. First student makes a first conditional related to pets and sleep. The second student responds with the second condition. Well, duh, that's probably the game that I would have thought of too. And writing prompts, write one short paragraph about how your sleep or your pet's behavior could change. So now you're making me use the condition. I like that. I like that better than the one we looked at a few minutes ago. And I'm happy to I'm happy to use it. I'm looking forward to seeing what the paid version of ChatGPT does. I mean, the one I have now does everything I could want, except if you do too many prompts in one day, it stops working, which is what happened in our class this afternoon. All right, I'm done. We've got some minutes, so I'd love to either questions or opinions. What do you think about all this? Would you be interested in using ChatGPT, or do you have objections to it?
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
So these worksheets and so on that it's coming up with, how do you transfer them into a document so you can edit them and so
just
on?
cut and paste. You cut and paste anything out of ChatGPT right into Word or anything else.
Okay, you cut it and then paste it into Word. Okay.
Yeah, so basically, highlight it, Control C, go into Word or wherever you want to put it, and
once it's in Word, you can edit it, you can modify it.
Yes. Okay. And I want to mention something else. I know most of us at one point or other used Ventures or one of the other books. And I found out this afternoon, I didn't know this, they are available online and not just in PDF. So any page you have in Ventures, if your student is having particular trouble, you can do just what I did, copy an exercise and say, make this a little easier, provide more explanation, anything you want, and it will do it. So that's my answer to people who say, we have our material already. It's nice to be able to tweak it. All right, I'll shut up now. Any other comments or questions?
I have a question. So I had ChatGPT make a quiz for me today, and it said, and I've only used it like maybe once before. It said, "Do you want an answer key?" Well, the answer was yes, I did, but I couldn't seem to make that happen because there was no way to say yes, thank you, please.
Yeah, you go down to the bottom and it's like that's where you respond. Here, I'll show you.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go look for it again. Why does it keep going away? I'm probably closing it without realizing. All right, so let's see. Let's do it. Create. Oh, what am I doing? I can talk. Let's see, what'll it be? Okay. Create a short quiz at the intermediate level covering past perfect and present perfect and simple present with sentences in each and asking students which is appropriate, that kind of thing. That kind of thing. It lets me get away with nonsense like that. All right, so here's the quiz. All right, now let's see if it asks if I want an answer key. Yep.
Yes.
So
Okay.
it's right down there. Can you see at the bottom of the screen? It says asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I usually specify, I say, yes, I would like, why am I typing? Oh, well, an answer key. And then again, you hit the up arrow. And there it is. So
Ah, okay.
now
Thank
that's
you.
questions that I can actually answer. It happens so
Thank you.
infrequently. Yeah, thank you for asking.
Oh,
Anything
that's
else?
okay.
I feel like I should quit while I'm ahead. Here's
Can I ask a question?
of course.
Have you ever tried the Microsoft 365 Copilot?
It pounces on me every time I try to open a document, but no, I never have. Have you?
Yeah, but
Hmm.
for simple things, it seemed to work like you're saying for Chat GPT, but I don't have enough experience with either to know if Copilot is as good as your Chat GPT is or not.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I was about to say probably not because I don't think it would do as wide a variety of things.
Right.
But maybe it will. I'll try it. I- I'd be a little surprised if it were as good. I guess that's like I was looking at trying to name other ones. There's ChatGPT, Gemini, which I've never used, and I think Copilot might qualify. I'll try it. That's a good question. It might save a little bit of time. Okay. Anything else?
James, a couple, thank you for the presentation. It's been really exciting. Have you ever tried to ask it to do intentional mistakes that the students can then correct?
No, let's do that. I'll bet it will. You might hear it laughing.
Maybe just a short paragraph on something with maybe 10 errors in grammar, something like that.
Let's see what we can do. That's neat.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
I'm teaching intermediate ESL, and in order to give the students some fun, I would like to have a paragraph of maybe 200 words with 10 errors in it, 10 grammatical errors. So if you have to make it longer, that's fine. And then why don't you also provide at the bottom a list of the errors and an explanation of them? We wait and we hit the arrow, and there it is. Fun story style paragraph. Let's see what we got. Let's say my friend Carla invite me to go to a new internet. I like that.
That's it. Yeah, yeah.
At first, I didn't want it to go because I was
I love
feeling.
it.
Thank you for suggesting that.
That's so cool.
The noodles
I
was
love it.
delicious.
I love it. That's worth it to me.
Yeah, it is.
And again, I want to emphasize it doesn't cost anything and it doesn't take more than about 30 seconds to put this on your system. I mean, I didn't actually download it initially. I just have the URL. You just simply type chat GTP and then I bookmarked that. And then you've got it.
James, can
I
you
would
go
just
down
say,
to show their explanation of the errors?
oh yeah.
Yeah, just to see how.
There they are. Past narrative needs simple past. Didn't.
Yeah, it's okay though. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Moving
cool.
very
I like that.
Yeah. Any other neat ideas? Actually, we're almost out of time. I can't tell you how happy I am that there were no tech problems this time. Oh, thanks to Allie's help with Zoom. Anything else? Any comments on the general concept of what we're doing, or any questions? If not, I guess we're done. We're free. So
Thank
you
you.
all.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
James.
Thank
Really,
you.
really
Yes.
I
useful.
hope you'll all
Thank you.
download ChatGPT.
Yes,
It's a
we
lot
will.
of fun.
We will.
Thank you.
I'm ready to
Thank
go.
Thank you.
Thank
Ready to
you.
go to.
Have a
All
good
right.
evening. Thank you so
You too.
much. Okay,
All right.
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
Bye.